Ladies and Mentalgens, thank you for coming and watching Super Overwatch. I am Larry, and we have massive news to talk about today. A new patch has just released on the PTR, and thanks for playing tank players, but you have just been completely nerfed out of this game. So let's break down a little bit of what happened here. First off, we have Roadhog's hook, and it's pretty much what we knew was coming yesterday. Basically, you have Roadhog, and his hook is going to have nerfs to it, and it's not going to be as viable as it used to be, and you know my feelings on that. I discussed them yesterday in great detail, so I'm not going to touch on much here. Next off, we have Anna, and Anna is not doing nearly as much bonus healing as she is when she hits somebody with her biotic grenade. She used to do 100% bonus healing, now it's only 50, and that is the way that things are going to go for her, ladies and boys and girls. And then finally, we have changes to D.Va. D.Va used to have 400 armor and 200 health, and that is being a little flippity-dippity, and now she only has 200 armor and 400 health. She's also got some changes to her gun. It does a little bit less damage, but there's more bullets in it. It's going to be an overall slight nerf to her damage, but hopefully she should be more consistent. And also Sombra got a little bit of a buff. Instead of taking 1 second for her hack to hack people, now it takes 4/5 of a second. It should be a major change, and hopefully she'll be competitively viable starting tomorrow. Or at least tomorrow as soon as this is actually put in the game. It's only in the PTR. If you are playing PTR competitive, I know some of you do, then you will probably find Sombra really viable right now. Hey, great for you, but for the rest of us that are on consoles, they don't have the PTR, we're just gonna have to wait a little bit longer. But I'm not here to talk about Sombra, I'm here to talk about the tanks. First off, let's look at one, then let's look at them all. Let's look at the main impact that all of this is gonna have. So the one that really bothers me, yes, they all bother me, you know my feelings on nerfs. I don't want to see them in the game. I'd rather than nerfing these 3 heroes into oblivion, let's bring the rest of them up, let's buff everybody else, let's bring everybody feeling better about themselves so everybody enjoys the game a little bit more. But let's focus on D.Va, because her nerf is not just a nerf, it is a nerf that completely contradicts her character. Now, I am a huge stickler for the lore of Overwatch, and what we should basically be having is lore outside of the game, and then the game inside of the game, and this is completely contradictory to what D.Va is outside of the game. What you have is a little girl inside of a giant robot mech. How could a giant mech have 400 health? It has all these shieldings on it, it doesn't make any sense, and it's really bothering me very, very much. I understand the need to try to make D.Va feel a little bit less powerful, but please, for the mother of Lord, don't give her all of this health. That robot mech is not a big squishy. It has armor, it is a big robot suit. The health bar shouldn't even have health on it. It should be all completely armor. And whether that has to be 400 armor or 450 armor and no health at all until she's out of the mech, running around a zero suit D.Va where it makes sense that she's a squishy little thing, don't have this much health. It's very bothersome, it's very much against the lore. Ooh, sorry, got a little bit worked up there. This is a thing that really bothers me. Let's look at some of the other heroes that have armor, and by that I mean specifically the Omnic characters. First off, we have Genji. Genji is not an Omnic. He has all of these Omnic parts. He has no armor. You think I'd be bothered by that? No, I'm not bothered by it at all, because it reflects the lore. Genji, in his heart, is a boy. He's a real boy. Therefore, he doesn't need armor on his health bar. He doesn't need that armor. It makes him realize what he is not. He is not an Omnic. He is a real boy. Then we have Zenyatta. And yes, this one seems weird because he has health and then he has shields, but you have to understand that Zenyatta is one with the Iris, and that means that he is one with all things. He has transcended beyond being an Omnic, therefore it would be weird for him to have armor. It makes more sense that he has transcended into having a shielding around him because the life force of the Iris is just constantly flowing into him, so he has the shielding, which basically acts as slight regenerative health for his health bar. And then finally we have Bastion, who has some health and some armor, and that makes sense because he's a robot, but inside him he has the heart of a boy. And I don't mean that in a sense of like he feels like he is a human on the inside. No, I mean if you open up his chest cavity, he has human heart stored inside there. It's a part of the lore, you can look it up, it's in the comics, it's there, right there in front of your face, and you can see it down pat, down right there. You can see it, it's real, and that's how it works. and all of that is reflective of the lore. D.Va's new health bar? This doesn't make any sense at all, and it just pulls me out of the game, ladies and gentlemen. But now, let's focus on the macro. This is one little small lore misstep. This can be undone. This can be changed. But we have to look at kind of what the greater purpose is here of all of these tank nerfs all at once. And that is because right now we have a tank-heavy meta. We have Ana, who is doing super healing. She's going to have at least 3 tanks to heal at all times. You probably want Roadhog, D.Va, and Reinhardt. And then you may have a Lucio, Soldier 76 to kind of round out the rest of your team. And that's going to be the most competitively meta, best viable options you have right now. And it looks like Blizzard is trying to make it so this tank-heavy meta is not as powerful as it currently is. And this, honestly, this is a huge problem. This may feel like Kaplan and the boys are trying to make you feel good about yourselves. But that is not what is happening here, folks and gents. What is really happening is that they are making a game that is now less competitive. Overwatch's beauty is not that it is some sort of deeply complicated game. Overwatch's beauty is that it pretends to be a complicated game when honestly what is going on is very simple. There are essentially only 6 characters that you should be choosing at all times. Again, your optimal team composition: D.Va, Reinhardt, Roadhog, Ana, Lucio, Soldier 76. That is pretty much who you're going to want to be sticking with about 97% of the time when you are playing. As you see in this game, we're deviating from the meta just a little bit, but we have the Ana, we have the Reinhardt, we have the D.Va, and we have the Roadhog, and we, spoiler alert, win this game that you're watching right now, and it is because we have chosen the optimal route to go. It's not because it's quick play, and it's not because people are uncoordinated, it is because we are on meta. That is how the game works. Now, this is crazy because we have 3 huge nerfs to these characters, 3 of them that are in the competitive meta right now. What are we supposed to do? We don't need all of these pro teams trying to come up with new team compositions and learning how to play new characters. The simplest thing for us to do is help these pro teams have to only use 6, maybe 7 or 8 characters tops so that they can learn how to play those and learn how to use those characters optimally. And then when they get in firefights, we can see the meta get better and better, because what's essentially going to have to happen, ladies and boys, is that they are going to have to get better and better and better at these characters. And they're only focusing on 6 to 8, they're not focusing on 23, and it feels really good if you can say that your meta has 23 characters in it, but really, you're gonna get the best possible competitive games you can possibly get with the best players in the world that are the best as they can possibly be if they only have to focus on a small set of characters, and they can only have to get good at those characters. That is how you get a game that looks competitively amazing. That is what we need. We don't need to get McCree and Widowmaker and Zenyatta and Mercy and D.Va. Wait, no, we have D.Va in the game. But those other ones that aren't in the meta right now, we don't need them in. We don't need them back. We don't need McCree. We don't need Junkrat. We don't need these characters. It's great if you want to play around with them, but you don't have to learn them legitimately. Play around, have fun. It's great that it's there for you. But don't try to think that this has to be the ultimate competitive focus. Overwatch right now is about to throw the competitive meta into a crazy spiral where who knows what can happen. But I can tell you right now, the competitive games are not going to be as competitively competitive tippy-top as they once were, because there's going to be so much weird stuff going on. Maybe we'll find ourselves in a nice, comfy 6-player meta again, and then we'll be back to normal, and then we can watch all of these pros get absolutely amazing at these characters, and we can see the best meta, we can see the best competitive games again. And that would be great, and that would be awesome. Thank you for watching and listening. If there's anything on the channel you want me to discuss, please let me know. I love to talk about this game, I love to talk about it a lot, and I want to talk about it with you. And thank you for watching, and bye-bye-bye-bye-bye-bye-bye-bye. We've got another ending song for you. I hope it makes you happy. Does it make you feel blue? You can watch lots of really cool videos. Or you could just decide to go. But that would make me sad. Stick around and watch and maybe subscribe and make me feel great about self and stuff. Yay!